think a great topic to finish up with today's video would be, this is pretty overarching, so we might not cover everything, but what does swimming mean to you? What is the value of swimming? You know, what does it bring to your life? What do you feel like it brings to other people's lives?
So, swimming for me is all about comfort in the water, and it stops there. You can go fast if you want to, and it can be fun, but to me, the swimming itself is about being comfortable. And comfortable in deep water is the ultimate stage of that. The value, so for old folks like me, okay, who have ankles and knees and hips and things like that don't behave like they used to, swimming comes in real handy for that, because I get to keep moving and I get to keep functioning and be healthy, and that's true for everybody there. There's some wonderful social situations that you get to play with that if you're for my scared people who go to pool parties and hang on to the side of the pool because they're scared to get out, there's a lot of that social interaction that they miss, and they don't feel a part of the folks who are there because they're hanging on and they see those other people who are not, and they know there's something different and they feel like that's a big deal. So there's some social stuff that misses out with that. There's some family things. There are people whose families go to beaches and they sit the whole time on the beach and they'd love to go play with grandkids or whoever.
Sure.
So there are things like that. And there's some safety things, although for the people who argue you can do fine and never swim in your entire life, I can't argue with that. You can stay on land and be fine with that. But there's some wonderfulness that happens in the water that you can't. It doesn't happen in air. No. It happens in water, and there's some wonderful stuff out there. I think there's some wonderful value for in the competitive world, for the discipline that goes into that. It takes a lot of time and energy into that, for the focus into your technique and the awareness of yourself that comes with that. I think that's neat. I think that's true for our beginners too. We started there's an underwater torpedo league, which is for guys who are way past any of us from a long breath point of view. But think of it as kind of football underwater, right? When you can tackle each other and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, this is so fun. We got to figure out a way to make this happen. And it's not really conducive for beginners, sure, right? It's a little carried away. So we've made it into this underwater team golf tournament. In fact, you should come play with us sometime.
Right, yeah, I'll have to.
So the goal is to see how fast you can throw this torpedo through the holes, and you get two of you in it. So, you throw it and the next one's down there ready to make the next throw, but you got to get to them quickly so that if their throw misses, you can pick it back up and get it through. And your goal is to see how fast you can get through however many holes we have laid out during the day. And it's really cool because it gives you, the reason I like it is because it requires an awareness about yourself, some proprioceptive pieces as well.
Absolutely.
That it builds it. It makes it fun. It's a new awareness of you in a new space, which broadens who you are. And I think that's I find people love it. So for me, the coolest thing about the swim is the comfort and the fun factor. I mean, those two are just the biggest, hands down. How about you? What does that change for you? How's that different?
Just got a few notes, and I think the proprioceptive thing is a big thing. I wasn't quite as coordinated pre-swimming, actually. I didn't have great balance and didn't have great awareness in space. Tried baseball, soccer, Didn't love it quite as much, and there was something about swimming that I picked up, and evidently it actually made me a more coordinated athlete out of the water. I understood on a basketball court where I was in space or on a football field, on top of just becoming a better athlete, I was in better shape. I could run faster, jump higher, so on and so forth. Yeah. But for me, swimming it's interesting. So it's one of the few times that you can reject the laws of physics, right? I mean, the laws of physics in water, yes, are still there, but
you get to toss the laws that are on the land.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you do not have to walk on 2 feet. Frankly, it's not very easy, you know, and
Yep.
you know, you can play mermaids, you can go diving for quarters, you can go do all these things that you just can't do on land.
Yeah,
And
huge.
there's something unique about that. It's you know, from a competitive standpoint, it's one of the few sports that requires you to be horizontal.
Right, right.
One of the only. And on top of that, already being unique as it is, it's in water.
Yeah. So we spend a whole lot of time talking about the difference between air and water. You know, in the air, everything sinks. In the water, huh? No. How funny. How it
Right.
doesn't sink. Look at that. You come back up. What happened with that? Um, you know, if you throw your hand around in air like this, it doesn't do anything at all. If you throw your hand around like that in water, it spins you back and forth. It's a completely different environment. It's a different space with its own set of rules, and it is the difference in those two that brings a lot of fear for people coming into the water. A lot of the misconceptions are thinking that the rules are going to be exactly the same as air. My favorite one is how forgiving the water is. If you go to trip on land, it takes you that long to hit your face
Certainly.
and you're done. You know, if you trip on water, you know, if you've got any breath at all, you probably never get to the bottom. And if you're a good sinker, it'll take you, or you blow all your air out, it's still going to take you. For me, it takes 12 to 15 minutes, right? Seconds, rather, to get there. And there's all this time to move, and there's all this forgiveness that if you're just on the land, you never appreciate it.
Right.
So.
And I think you know, my other half of it is really that it's quietly loud. So swimming, the only noise is the sound in your head, right? So as a recreational post-competitive swimmer that I am, I mean, it's the only time that you get to be with your thoughts. We're just inundated by phones and conversations and work and assignments and things that we have to do in our day-to-day lives, and it's the only time I can just be quiet, that I'm awake.
Very meditative.
It's very meditative.
If you allow it to be, yeah.
I think swimming is writing in cursive. It's speaking in French. Everything is connected. Everything is put together. It's smooth. It's rhythmic. It's natural. And so for me, you know, where it does come more naturally, it's just a time to be introspective and also perhaps blow off a little bit of steam. You know, I mean, it's just a very natural way for me to spend a little bit of energy in what feels like a meaningful way at that time.
To burn a little bit of energy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
with, you know, all those things put together, it's a time that you can step back from reality, like I said, with the physics example and just with the reality of our day-to-day lives. It's one of the few times you can really step back away from that and not have somebody in your ear, and or just have things that are burdensome, you know, that you might be dealing with, right? So I tell my kids that once they walk in the pool, there's nothing they can change about their lives outside the 4 walls. And so a lot of our talk about mental health is surrounded around that. And so I think it definitely has helped my mental health throughout the years. It's in a lot of good ways. I think performing well was part of that, but later on in life, it's just being back in the water and getting a chance to do what I've loved for so many years. But I think with that, I think it'll be time to close it up. But Perry, I've loved this conversation.
It's always fun. It's always fun.
Yeah, every time, you know, it's always fruitful. There's always a new topic to talk about, and love bouncing ideas off. You guys, we loved doing this for you guys, but if you guys enjoyed what we did for you today, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, do what you do, and show us a little love on YouTube and wherever else you're coming from. And we'll hope to bring more content just like this or other content. Let us know what you like, and let us know where you're watching this from too. Looking forward to seeing you guys next time.
Thanks for watching today's video. If you liked it, be sure to subscribe, share, ring the bell, comment with any questions. If you're in the DFW area and you'd like more information on swim lessons or swim team, be sure to visit www.sigmaswim.org.